Hello and welcome to a very special silver lining, although it's technically not the silver lining of the week, but I've never done this before, like just to pop up and start talking about something. So we're just going to call it like the silver lining midweek special. I'm your host, Uncle Silver, aka Silver Greg, aka Greg, whatever you're comfortable calling me. And welcome to you, my co-host, hopefully for this surprise stream. For as I'm streaming right now, it is Wednesday, which I don't normally stream. But welcome to you, my co-host, whoever may be out there in the chat. I'm not expecting a whole lot of people since this is a real sort of spur of the moment. Like literally 10 minutes ago, I posted on Twitter and said that I was going to stream because I wanted to talk about this. So I'm kind of catching everybody off guard here, which is fine. I wanted to talk about what I had just seen, so I was like real eager to talk about it. So I was like, you know what? We normally do the show on Fridays, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. On Twitch live. And on Twitch we do it live, but I didn't want to wait that long. So I wanted to talk about this, and I knew that there were people who probably wanted to talk about this too. Greg is streaming. It's just a Steven Universe movie. Never mind. Yeah, I should probably. Oh, you know what? I feel dumb. I need to. Yeah, I did change it. Okay, let's talk about the Steven Universe movie. I haven't seen the Steven Universe movie. I'm going to say about now really well. Yeah, Dragon Knight. It's a good movie. I want to preface all of this by saying that I did enjoy it. I enjoyed it very much. Maybe a hiccup here and there. Ultimately, it was a very good movie. There were just some nothing wrong, and I don't want to talk. I don't want to make this sound like I've got some complaints. But I just wanted to talk about it. I just wanted to really sort of get my feelings out for it. How I feel, whatever, where I thought they slipped up a little bit, where I thought they succeeded. There was one area that I thought they extremely succeeded, which is not. I feel like it's unconventional, an area that if you all know what the heck was that? Sorry, I just checked my phone. If you all know me, you know that when I say this, you're gonna say. Yeah, absolutely. That's where I knew you would like it. I loved it, but the ending was just JG. I saw that you just followed. Thank you so much for that. But the ending was a bit rushed, and that's my main gripe. I don't know. I don't know that the ending I felt was rushed. I felt like I think that it worked fine. I think that the ending worked okay. I kind of saw it coming right as it was about to happen, so I can honestly say that for the rest of the movie I did not see the ending coming, and that's nice. I like that. I don't like when halfway through the movie I say, oh, that's what they're gonna like, that's what's gonna happen. Like, I don't like when that happens. So, and this I felt didn't do that. I didn't think that it did that. Yeah, I don't AGM probably is thinking the same thing I am, which I did have. That is one of the things that I had a problem with. Wonder why subs hate me on Greg's stream. The September stuff is there for others, but it still says full price for you. That's so weird. Maybe it's because you're already subbed. Maybe it only works for news. I don't know. Yeah, I honestly have no idea, Lilac. I apologize for that. I really wish I could help and figure out what it is. I haven't sat down. I want to make a special card, like a button that I hit to show, September love and explain everything. Somebody made a card where they break down everything that September includes. So I want to do that. It's $250 for me, but I'll sub once I get my commission money. Yeah, for anybody that doesn't know, it's September right now, so between September 3rd and September 24th, tier 1 subs are half price. They're only $250 instead of the normal $5. If you I think it's any bit donations you make that include you use the Subway sandwich emote or something, I think that's how you get the extra 10% added to that. Steven Universe was one of those shows on Cartoon Network I ignored because I thought it was kind of weird. and a bit boring, sort of like Clarence. It's funny because I avoided Steven Universe for a while too until somebody told me that it has a consistent storyline. I thought it was like Adventure Time, where Adventure Time felt very this episode happens and this episode happens and nothing really matters. They're not interconnected. And then somebody told me that Steven Universe, no, that there's a lot of filler, but there is an overarching story that especially start to notice around the second and third seasons. So okay, and then I come to find out, by the way, before everybody jumps on me, then I come to find out that Adventure Time does also have some sort of overarching story. My problem is I have trouble with the characters on that show. With the backpedaling thing, I get that. It was more saying with how Spinel was just immediately accepting of the diamonds, and them to. Oh, JG, I have a reason for that, and I have a reason for that that you might have missed, and we're not used to. And that's sort of the thing with this show, with this movie. It seems to be because I'm subbed. I checked on Johnny's and it's full. Yeah, it might be because you're already subbed, and your sub won't expire. See, here's the thing with September, Lilac. September is from September 3rd to the 24th. If your subscription doesn't end in that time frame, you won't be able to take advantage of the $250, I think. I wonder if that's what it is. Codependency, which is weird because, I had a soft spot for Adventure Time when that series came out, and I especially adored Regular. I like Regular Show. Regular Show, I didn't mind too much being a sort of one-off show where every episode was something different. Yeah, it's okay. So the Steven Universe movie. I just finished watching it. Did you manage to catch that the chest in Lion's mane was finally open? I thought I saw it, but I thought Steven opened that at some point. I could have sworn Steven was the one that opened that. Mine ends on the 11th. Oh, okay. All right, so never mind. Lilac, I'm just an idiot. So the Steven Universe movie. I got to borrow someone's Amazon Prime account, so I was able to watch it. I never like saying who because it's I don't want John. I don't know if John wants people to know that it was him, so I won't say who. But it hadn't been open. Oh, it hadn't been open on screen. So I just finished watching it like 20 minutes ago, and overall I liked the movie. I thought that spoiler alert, but this whole conversation is one giant spoiler. So there you go. I love the opening song. I love the whole now we're in the future, which is always weird to me because you don't know you're in the future. You know what I mean? You're always in the present. But for the purpose, it was almost like they were singing it to us. So as a catch up, I like the little catch up in the beginning where they sort of explained the bulk of everything that had happened and what the setting that we're in. I like that. I like the song. I actually really love the song. The Spinel is a fantastic character. When they introduced her and she came down, and you're never gonna sell me on a character faster than if you put a scythe in their hands. I don't know why. I think it's an overall unorthodox weapon. So I always love seeing that as a cool weapon. Yeah, overall it's good. It's not perfect. Nor does it need to be perfect. Yeah, it doesn't need to be perfect because it doesn't need to be perfect. Don't attack me. It doesn't need to be perfect because the show wasn't perfect. The show itself had a lot of flaws. So the movie, it's almost possible to put too much polish on the movie. You know what I mean? And they didn't. They did not. One thing that I noticed, she's the best villain introduction since Jasper. She's probably one of the best villains since Jasper. Jasper was an interesting character because I don't normally like that kind of character, and I found Jasper to be Steven's greatest enemy, because Jasper, for the most part, never was susceptible to Steven's charm. Steven's biggest weapon is himself. He has this charisma and his charm that wins everybody over. And that's sort of the point, that he wins them over with caring and friendship. You know, when it starts out and we see the diamonds there, and the diamonds sing a song which was terrific, a great song, and they're so silly how they're trying to be these good characters, and they're doing it very well, but you can tell that they're kind of struggling. And so it was fantastic to see them like that. But you think about who they were before, who Blue was, who Yellow was, who White was when we finally saw White, and you see them as these superimposing characters. And what does Steven do? Steven does what he always does. He wins them over, and it works. And the fact that he couldn't do that with Jasper, it was amazing. It worked so well. It's a lot to me like the Batman Joker scenario, where in the Dark Knight, when what's his name explains, when Alfred explains to Bruce the story, like, you know, some villains basically can't be bargained with. And that's what it's like to me with Steven and Jasper. There's no bargaining with Jasper. There's no winning Jasper over with what she might want to hear, or what she doesn't realize she needs. Like, that's it. What you see is what you get, and that's the way it's going to be. So I like Jasper for that, but I love the diamonds in this. I love the way I love seeing them. Zach finally gets to use this normal voice for Steven. Yeah, JG, I remember there was some speculation about the show Family Matters with Steve Urkel. And I remember hearing a story that Jaleel White was upset that he basically had to grow up on TV as this nerd, this uber, like, dorky kind of character. So they wrote in the Stefan character so that he could be a little more like a normal person on screen. And I remember hearing that, and I never found out if that was true or not, but that's what it felt like to me. It's like, oh, let's do this movie in the future so I can use my normal voice. I'm surprised that, I'm a bit surprised there was no Jasper. I am a bit surprised there was no Jasper. The diamonds were always complicated for me, since they only got beaten by the fact that Steven is family for them. White could have killed them if they wanted to. Yeah, but they always had this sort of investment in Steven in Pink Diamond. You know, there was always, like you said, they were family. So there was always something there. And Jasper, and that's the thing. That connection, that sort of almost familial tie, that was there for Jasper. In case you forget, Jasper was there because she thought that they killed Pink Diamond. Like, she liked Pink Diamond too, or she was at least loyal to her. And that's what drove her. But even when she found out what's going on, she didn't care. That's why I feel Jasper was the real antagonist. Yeah, the diamonds weren't interested in fighting Steven so much as they were getting Pink back. Jasper wanted to fight Steven, but she wanted to do it because she saw Steven as Pink's killer, in a way. And so there is reasoning there, that there is emotion there. So I personally think that is very accurate, that there is a lot of emotion there. But we get the introduction of Spinel. Spinel's a fantastic character. Unfortunately, Spinel is Spinel is a fantastic villain, but Spinel has suffered at the hands of basically the show's worst villain, and I'm going to catch flack for that one. Basically the show's worst villain, Pink Diamond. How many times now are we going to see that Pink Diamond, in some way or another, her carelessness is causing all of this trouble? Whether you like Pink Diamond, whether you excuse her for the things that happen, the reality is that a lot of what she did is the cause of a lot of this stuff. And it's always funny to me when that happens. There is Dumbledore, and for any Harry Potter fans out there, I found Dumbledore to be the same way. I found, especially when we got to like the last two movies, we started to see Dumbledore for what he really was. We always saw him as this sort of grandfatherly character. You know, he's the principal and he takes care of everybody. And then around the fifth movie, when he started to ignore Harry, we started to see the cracks. And then it wasn't until we got to the last two movies that you really, really saw some of the manipulation that comes from Dumbledore. And you started to reevaluate him as a good person. And that's how I feel about Pink. Like, Pink is a villain. I agree with that. The whole show has somewhat been setting up that she's the true antagonist. Yeah, just like, I get that she wanted what she wanted, and that's great. But you think about all of the pain that she caused. You think about the fact that Steven had to grow up without a mother, because she created him in the first place, which is a very weird sort of thing. But I don't think that she was oblivious to the fact that Rose loved her the way that she loved her, but or that Pearl loved her the way that she loved her. But she never explained that wasn't going to happen. She just let her be that way. She taught Amethyst to have fun and enjoy life, but I feel like she never went over the stuff that she needed to go through, which was dealing with her emotions about who she was and where she came from. The fact that she lived for 500 years or even longer alone, or was it like 5,000 years that she lived alone? I thought it was 500. She helped Garnet to be this full person, or to realize that the full person that she was okay. And that's probably one of the better things that she did. There was a lot of stuff that happened that Pink could have fixed if she had dealt with the situation like Steven does. And I think that's why, to me, Steven is stronger than Rose Quartz. I'm saying Pink, and I should be saying Rose Quartz. I think I shouldn't think that Spinel got the worst of her. Yeah. Because at least in Diamond Days we saw a fair reason. She obviously wasn't trying to destroy anyone or hurt people because of the way she was. She put herself first, and leaving Spinel was when she was telling the story, when Spinel was telling the story about what had happened, it started to be very obvious what had happened. And then the funny thing is, I thought about the kind of character that Rose Quartz has been, the kind of character we found her to be. And it occurred to me, like, early on in the story, I was like, she ghosted her. I mean, obviously the whole point early on was established that she sort of left her behind. That's the way they made it felt. But she didn't even come back to tell her. And it wasn't until when Spinel is telling the story about how she's just standing there and she's singing the song about how she stood there waiting for her, it wasn't until the communication popped up with Steven that I realized how bad it was. See, I kept expecting during the song for Spinel to get up and leave, and then to find out that Pink Diamond is living this other life, and she starts building the machine, the injector and all. Like, I kept expecting all of that stuff to happen. I didn't. It was a kind of a shock to me when she didn't move until the communication went out with Steven talking. And that was brutal to me. That was like, wow, she was there right up until the last second. And that's horrible. And here we go again with Pink Diamond doing this stuff. I was like Dumbledore to begin with, because the cause for his actions always centered around the main character, and he had his reasons for doing that. I still like Dumbledore, but you like I said, you start to see the cracks in Dumbledore around the fifth movie, and maybe seventh and eighth movie is when you really, really are like, oh, he's really not super duper awesome. She kept her promise to Pink. That's the thing with Spinel, is just being awful and stuff. Yeah, they're with Spinel. Well, I think Pink stands for the oblivious ways that we can hurt people, no matter how good. No, Hawk, I don't think that. I don't know about oblivious. I think Pink Diamond, if she's going to represent any sort of emotion that way, I think Pink represents the dangers of living a carefree life. We love the idea of living a carefree life and doing whatever we want to do. But the reality is you do have to face responsibilities sometimes. There are things that need to be done. And I think Pink is, if anything, a cautionary tale as to what happens if you don't. You know, you leave people behind because you want to go and do your own thing and you don't think about other people. It's important to live a good, happy life, but you don't get to abandon people in the process as a result of that. You know, with the under the guise of, well, I'm trying to live my life. Your comparison of Pink to Dumbledore is actually interesting. They both had goals to do good in the world, but in their pursuit of the greater good, they hurt others. You don't really find out about their misdeeds until after they've died. There's a lot of it's a good comparison between the two. It's an interesting I want to say dichotomy, but I don't want to sound like a snob. That was definitely the most blatant they've been with her. Yeah, and JG, I think that's important. I think it's important because at the end of the finale, everybody remembers that scene when Steven is hugging himself. It's like the human side of him is hugging the gem side of him, and the animation was fantastic on that, by the way. But there was that was the moment where Steven sort of reconciled himself with himself. He stopped seeing himself as the villain that Pink Diamond was, as the carefree person that Rose Quartz was. And he started to realize that he's his own person, and he embraced that. That was a great scene for that. I think that we've gotten to a point where Steven is done hiding that. He's done trying to answer for what Pink has done. He just knows that he has to fix it. That's it. He's tired of I'm sorry, I didn't mean for her to do that. Like, he's not really he's obviously sorry that that happened to Spinel and to everybody that Pink hurt, but he's done trying to pay for it, and he would rather try to make up for it, if that makes any sense. And I like that. So I like that. I appreciate that. That's growth to me. That's character growth. So obviously, so then Spinel, she cuts everybody down. Steven cuts her down. We get to see everybody sort of start all over again, which was an interesting concept. I don't know. I wonder if there was a different way to do that, but it worked. It was totally fine. It was a cute little backtrack to a couple of events, which is they picked weird events to me. I felt like they picked weird events. Amethyst going back to Vidalia's house and seeing all the paintings, I thought was very odd. Especially since we didn't see Vidalia, right? Yeah, because she's the onion lady. But first time being human more than a diamond help. Oh yeah. It was weird that they chose that moment. I feel like a powerful scene in the kindergarten. I like that they went back to the train during the song, because I think that situation, that episode where Steven and they ride the rails and they hit the road on the road, I think is what the episode was called. I thought that was, to me, one of the most one of the closest moments, other than the fusion, of course, that Steven and Amethyst felt. So I like that they used that moment. I'm upset about Pink's moment. I'm upset, or Pearl's moment. I'm upset about Pearl's moment because they did the rock show, and I don't like that it worked. I don't like that the whole thing with Steve, which we'll get to that in a second, but the whole thing with Steven and Greg, I don't like that worked. Personally, to me, I would have had it not working, and then I would have had them look over and see Mystery Girl from the Night in Beach City episode. I thought that's where they were going. when they said they were going to do a rock show, I thought that's where they were going. I thought Mystery Girl was going to be there, and I thought that was going to hit Pearl, and it was going to be like, oh man, and she remembers who she is. I don't like the idea that her identity is still tied in some way to Rose. I don't like that. She needs to be herself. We get a better Pearl when we see Pearl on her own. And I felt like having her memory get jarred by Mystery Girl would have been a lot more interesting. God, the fan fiction would have went bananas. I think the fan fiction would have went off the wall if that had happened. Hold on, water break. We got the entire sequence of them traveling. To be fair, it was the first time Pearl felt like she was losing Pink. On the other hand, Elvis Presley, like a few. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna this fusion thing. Oh, and the Garnet stuff was fine. It was a little. I felt like Garnet discovering who she was a little slapped together. I would have preferred it to stay Ruby and Sapphire for a little longer, and then for Garnet to fuse, and then I would have preferred for her to try and fuse and then have trouble staying together. And then when Ruby and Sapphire realize they love each other and they remember what the truth is, what the answer is that keeps them together, that should have been the event that triggers them back to original life. I thought that would have been more important. Because that's the whole message of them. The reason they're able to stay fused for basically indefinitely is because of their love for each other. And I feel like that is the most important thing about Garnet. So I think that would have made more sense. You know, you have them fuse and then you have them try and protect each other. And then in that moment when they fuse, they realize they love each other, and that's what keeps them together. Yeah, I would have preferred that. I did not like the suddenness of Greg and Steven fusing together. I did not like that. I thought the design was cool. I thought it was kind of fun. I thought it was great. I thought it fit them both. I don't know where his abs came from. Steg is what the character is called. Yeah. Steg was a great fusion, but I don't like. And this is one of my biggest problems. This was my problem with the finale too. I don't like how fusions are treated as sort of throwaway ideas. I cannot stand in the finale that we got to see Obsidian, we got to see Sunstone, we got to see the Steven and Pearl Rainbow Quartz. I don't like that we got these fusions and they were throwaway characters. And I don't like that Steg was a throwaway character. It was treated, it happened so fast and then it was over. And it's like, I felt like fusion, and this is a personal thing too. This is probably just a personal gripe. I just feel like fusions are supposed to be this big thing and they're treated like throwaways. I have a problem with the fact that we saw Opal and didn't see anybody else. I kind of, and Alexandrite. I find it weird that they made Opal the one that we get to see other than Alexandrite. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of that. Yeah, it was way too fast, but I thought the fusion was cool. Yeah, I thought the fusion was cool. He looked awesome. I as a fellow Greg, I've never looked better. So yeah, I ultimately I thought that it was a good idea and it was cool. Yeah, the days of smoke. Yeah, I remember when Smoky Quartz showed up. Smoky Quartz was like a big deal. We were amazed. I remember it. We were like, oh my god, and that was it. Like but we saw Smoky Quartz a couple times, but it was great. And then this was just like, quick, throw some fusions at them. You know, that's what happened in the series finale, where they just threw these fusions at us, and Sunstone is fantastic. I don't have it with me. My background on my tablet is still a picture of Sunstone. Greg wanted to fuse. Yeah, remember when Greg wanted to fuse with Rose and he thought it was a big deal and she said that she couldn't do it, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, if your dad fused with me, okay. It was just like, come on, man. See, I'm missing the discussion. Oh yeah, sorry, Aqua. I posted it on Twitter. Even the fusions and Diamond Days were more impact. Yeah, I didn't like that the throwaway nature of the fusion between them. I think that should have been a bigger deal, and I get it. There isn't any more show, and you've only got one movie, so you got to do it. You got to do it really fast. But if you have to do it so fast that it makes it feel unimportant, don't do it at all. Save it for the comic or something. Save it for another special. Save it for another movie. The fusions in the movie were kind of all throwaways, though. It's sad because it would be nice to see the other Steven fusions. Yeah, we didn't see Stefani. I stepped away from Twitch for a moment, and the next I saw you were live. Oh. we know. No, AGM, my understanding is that the show's over. At least before, the understanding was that the show was over. Unless they made some announcement that I didn't see, which would be very interesting. The problem is, I don't know that I even want another season. I don't want another season. What I wanted was for the original stories to be fleshed out a little bit more and for them to give more time to the major events. And we didn't get that, but that's how it goes. Sugar said the show. The show will continue, or Steven Universe will continue, because Steven Universe could very easily continue in one-off movies, long specials, and the comic. It doesn't necessarily mean that another show is coming back, unless they specifically said there was another show coming back. They ended the story they wanted to tell. Sugar talked about it, but now she has more ideas. Yeah, I'm worried that it's gonna come across like a cash grab, and I don't want it to sound like, I don't want it to watch like a cash grab. I don't want to watch it and like, oh, they want more money out of this thing. But I didn't like the throwaway nature of it. I loved seeing. I loved some of the stuff that was happening. Let's talk about some of the stuff that was happening. We had like new Homeworld, I think was the town called, where they were building this sort of gem related town, which I thought was very cool. I thought that was nice. I loved seeing the other crystal gems. I love Peridot. So if you look down at the bottom of my page or lower on my page, you see the Peridot pillow, which I literally just have there because I think it's a funny looking picture. But I loved seeing them. I like Bismuth when she's not a villain, so I'm happy to see her back. A little disappointed I didn't see Pumpkin, but whatever. Yeah, I don't want it to become the next Adventure Time, which went on way too long. Could also be a sequel to Steven Universe. I would say, honestly, Aqua, another special I'd be fine with. I'd be fine with another special. You can't cram too many of them in because it won't seem, well, special. But I wouldn't mind every once in a while a nice one-off sort of Steven Universe movie. I mean, hell, they made like 15 of those damn Land Before Time movies. I'll take 15 Steven Universe movies. They showed Ronaldo really fast, which I'm glad that was really fast and he didn't get a line. Sorry, a voice actor for Ronaldo, but I hate that character, so I'm glad they didn't show that much. I just hope we get animated stuff because it goes. Mom is. Oh. That's for what's it called. If the series ended here, Neon. To be completely honest, if the series ended where I thought it ended, which was the series finale, I would have been totally fine with that. If there was never a Steven Universe movie, if this movie never happened, I'd be totally fine with it. I'm happy with where the show ended. This is the movie itself was good, but didn't ultimately feel necessary. It was just more evidence of Pink's screw-ups and her lack of responsibility. And that's what the movie felt like to me, as far as the storyline goes. AJM mentioned before the movie backpedaling towards the ending. After that, yeah. Neon, after this, it would just feel like another one off. It would just, that's all it would feel like. Although, see, it's funny because there are places you can go. Now the Diamonds have talked about the fact that they freed all of the different worlds, so you can have Steven go into different places. Like, there's a lot of different directions you can go. Almost too many. There's almost too many different directions you can go to. AJM mentioned the idea that the ending sort of backpedaled, and I see that. There was one I had a problem with, and I think it can all be summed up in the final song, which is they started singing "Here We Are in the Future" again. Here we are in the future, the happy ever after. Like, they sing all that. It's like, but you just had a whole big bit about how there is no real happily ever after, about how the work never ends, about how you have to keep changing and growing. There's no happily ever after. It doesn't work that way, because that means the story's over, and the story is never over from your perspective. So there was a little bit of backpedaling with that. I didn't like that. I get, like, okay, you wanted to throw back to the song that sort of started everything out, and I get that. But realistically, you just had this whole scenario about how you have to keep changing and growing, and you wanted to get back to your happily ever after, but it doesn't exist because it doesn't stop. That, to me, makes sense. Didn't they say that in a song? Sort of. They sort of did, but I don't know. It just, because they went back to the song of it, it kind of lost that that message to me. It sort of lost that message. Like, yes, we're in the happily ever after, but it still works. Like, after is doing all the work. Yeah. I saw the last music segment more as their happily ever after is doing. Okay, so I get that. If to him the happily ever after is the work that they're doing, I get that. I don't know, for some reason I just didn't feel it. I felt like, it felt like they kind of backpedaled on that really quickly, and that was probably my biggest gripe for the movie. And that's a minor complaint. That's a minor complaint that is very subjective, because obviously other people don't see it that way, which is totally fine. So that's a very personal thing. Other than that, and the throwaway nature of the fusions, I thought the movie was fantastic. I mean, we have all the new gems and new areas. We could make it about everyone trying to coexist. Maybe the song was intended just to end. Yeah, and that's Neon. It was a creative decision. It was a creative decision to end the movie out with the song that started the movie out. But that's how it felt. When you sang that song and that's what the song was about originally, it just sort of felt like you were going back on that a little bit. Steven does say the work won't be done in a somber as heck tone, but it flips back, so it does seem it felt like it felt like he forgot the point, you know what I mean? And that bothers me. And but again, minor gripe. I didn't see the ending completely coming until it was right on top of us. When the Diamonds, I didn't really see where the ending was going until the Diamonds showed up. When they showed up and I remembered, like, oh, they want Pink Diamond to stay there. And it's like, Spinel's going to go with them. Now somebody mentioned earlier the fact that Spinel was very accepting of the Diamonds, and they were very quick. She was very quick to say, okay, here's the thing. Spinel never suffered under the Diamonds. Spinel was kept in secret away from them. She was Pink Diamond's plaything, really. I'm not going to say friend, because that's not how you treat your friends. She was Pink Diamond's plaything and nothing else. She didn't suffer under the Diamonds. She didn't have to deal with any sort of oppressive regime from them. So there was no reason for her not to accept them. Obviously, she had met them before, but she made it sound like it was in passing. She made it sound like she was effectively the court jester. She came out and did a bunch of stuff, and then she left. You know what I mean? And then Pink took her back away, or the Diamonds left. Maybe they were at the secret garden or something. So They knew who Spinel was. Yeah, they gave her to Pink. See, I don't know that they gave her to Pink. I think that Pink. Did they say that? Did they say specifically that they gave her to Pink? I feel more like she created her. Because there have not been any other Spinels up to this point. The diamonds didn't have more. The rose quartzes were Rose's personal soldiers that she created herself. That was, and then all of the rose quartzes were gathered by the diamonds, which is a very interesting loose end that I would love to have opened up again someday. The diamonds gathered all of Pink's treasures, the gems that she created herself. Spinel is something that Pink Diamond created herself. She did something and made a very, very unique gem to be her friend. The diamonds only want her. They want her as a memory for Pink. And Spinel wants someone to entertain. It's very short-minded, but it AGM, it's funny because where I thought Spinel was going to go actually still works, and it works for the diamonds as well. Spinel's going to have a hard time because her identity was only ever as Pink Diamond's plaything. The same way that pearls, their only identity is to serve whoever they're given to. Amethyst's only identities are as soldiers. Rubies are guards. Sapphires are seers. That's what makes Garnet so unique, is that there hasn't been a Garnet, so you don't know where. Garnet didn't even know where she was supposed to fit in. But they learn, they grow, they exist, they're allowed, they thrive in an environment that encourages them to explore who they are, and that's how they grow. Under the regime of the diamonds, that wasn't possible because the diamonds were very strict. You had your role, and that was it. In this new age of the diamonds, where they're going to be more open-minded and they're going to allow gems to grow into individuals, we're going to see more growth, not from the diamonds and from Spinel. And that's what I thought was going to happen with Spinel. I thought Spinel was going to meet some other gems, and then she was going to start her own story where she goes and she lives her life, and she doesn't. Spinel is the way she is because she spent 6,000 years waiting for somebody to come back who was never coming back. That broke her. That would break anybody who's capable of living 6,000 years. Had she had the opportunity to live a life in that 6,000 years, she would have been fine. And I feel like that's where she's going now. And it's great that she's going with the diamonds because the diamonds still need help exploring a more fun side. They still need help exploring life in a different way. And I think that Spinel will help them do that. She helps them laugh. I busted out laughing when she did like the headstand and Yellow just cracked up ridiculously. I laughed so hard at that because it was so out of character for the diamond that we've seen this entire time. And that's the point. That is the whole message that is being sent in that moment, is that this is going to help them grow. This is the best thing for everybody, for this to happen this way. And it works. And it works perfectly. The only part of it that doesn't work is that we're not going to get to see it. We're not going to get to see, we're not going to get to see 30 years from now when Steven is an older guy and Connie's all grown up and everybody's still looking the way they always look. Maybe Greg is unfortunately gone, or he's just an old man that runs a car wash. And then we go back to Homeworld and we see a significantly more positive version of all of these characters. That's the only hard part for me, is that we're never going to see it. My favorite part was the sarcasm of White Claw. Yeah, she's like, has always been so destroyed. Like, I think it was Yellow that said that. But it works perfectly, and that actually leads into my favorite part of the movie. This is my favorite aspect of the movie. And like I said, if you've known me, if you come to the streams, if you hang out, if you talk on Twitter with me, you all know I don't like unpleasant characters. I don't mind angry characters if it fits the story, if it feels like they're going to grow. I love, love, love character development. This movie did not have a single character that I did not like. And that's perfect. I don't think that any character was a hateful, annoying character. Even Spinel, who was the enemy, we found out relatively fast that she was just another victim like everybody else was who has to suffer through the crap that Pink Diamond put everybody through. I didn't find any character unlikable. And even when Spinel was straight up a villain, I thought that she was a fun character and very interesting. And again, she pulled out a scythe, which always wins me over. Can we talk about that one line that encompasses most of the latter half of the series to this point? Steven, I can't believe my mother would do that. Actually, yeah, Hero. And we were talking about that before, how Steven seems to have abandoned that. He seems to have finally moved beyond the I can't believe my mom did that. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. We all can. We all can, because we've been watching this show for a while now, and we know what she does. We know that this is how she does people over. So yeah, we can. But I didn't feel like he was that he was suffering from that anymore. Oh my God, I don't believe my mom did this to you. He tried to explain to her one time, that, yeah, unfortunately she kind of hurt a lot of people, like, and I like that. I like that we have finally moved past that. I hate that it took so long, but I like that we're finally past the point of, oh no, what? My mom would never do such a thing. Your mom would always do such a thing. That might be the only thing your mom does extremely well. It gets on my nerves. I hate it too. I hate it because I love Rose Quartz. I think that she's she was a fun, great character up to a certain, until we started to learn about her, and then Pink seemed like a fun-loving character. But I hate when the fun-loving characters are so devoid of any sense of responsibility that they hurt everyone around them. My problem with Spinel is the SU thing where we have to talk everything out because she was constantly saying that it's not going to work. See, no, AGM, I like that though. I like that because it proves that she was never going to talk it out, but she also didn't understand the situation the way she thought she did. And I think that that's the point when that happens. That's what Steven's gift is. Steven has the gift of making sure you see it from a different perspective. And the way Spinel saw it, she was, her whole view was wrong, and he was able to show her that. Or rather, not her view was wrong, but things as they are now are not the way. If she came back and it was actually Pink Diamond, I would have been on Spinel's side 100%. I would have been on her side 100% because it was unfair what happened to her. It was unfair. But she came back not knowing that things were different. I honestly thought that there would have been a powerful scene where Steven and the others explained to her, like, Pink hurt us too. And then they started to break down where Pink sort of damaged them, where Pink did the damage that she did. And I think that would have been a very powerful connection moment where they understand. See, here's the thing. There's Rose Quartz, Pink as Rose Quartz actually did a lot of crap. She also did a few things. Early on, I questioned how great she was. The scene where Greg is dancing with her because he's trying to fuse with her was probably the first time I looked at Rose and said, you're not actually all that great, because I felt like she looked at Greg like an inferior. Not as someone that she loved, but she looked at him like you're beneath me and we're not on the same level. And that was the first time I saw that. So I thought that it would have been a nice, powerful connecting moment for them to say, Pink Diamond actually hurt a lot of people. You were probably spared the worst of it by standing on that planet for 6,000 years. you probably would have been a lot more hurt if you had been around her. There's a point in the movie where she literally says no amount of singing or talking is gonna fix it. Yeah, yeah, she did say that, and but again, I think the problem was that she didn't understand the situation fully. I think that she thought what she thought in the beginning, that she was getting back at Pink Diamond, and she didn't realize that not only was Pink Diamond not there to get back at, but she was hurting people who Pink also hurt. When she said, now that I know you, I want to kill you even more. That's what I felt this movie. Oh yeah. When Steven was bleeding in the nose, which we saw blood. Not everything can be done with peace, but it can be. But that's Steven's message, is that it can all be done with peace. It's a shame Pink Diamond was this irresponsible. Do you think part of this was due to the regime she was raised in? Yes, Aqua. It could be probably strong snapback is a way to look at it. It's a way to word it, where she was in such an oppressive sort of situation that was all about duty, that she snapped back and was the opposite. It was the rebellious situation where her whole existence was about being responsible. So she wanted nothing more than to be irresponsible. But the problem was that hurt a lot of people on the way. It was because Steven didn't reciprocate her rage. Steve kept wanting to make amends. And Spinel saw him change, saw him grow, and she wanted. Yeah, because she was willing. She was willing when Spinel was back to the regular version and she was singing the song and telling her story. You could tell that she didn't want to hate him that way, but she felt like there was nothing else. And at the time that she said nothing was going to fix this, I really think she believed that nothing was going to fix this. Hey, Jones. She did. It seriously wasn't until she was pregnant with Steven and it all clicked and she actually matured. At the same time, it can also be viewed as her running away from fixing things too. Yeah, like if Rose ever got to the point before Steven was born where she said, I hurt a lot of people and I need to start making amends, she would have started making amends. But she didn't. She transformed into Steven, and which we've still never seen. She transformed into Steven and then left it. She could have easily taken some time to fix some of that stuff. She could have told the other crystal gems what she needed of them, and they could have, she could have told them the whole story, and they could have helped to right some of her wrongs. It's a crappy thing to leave on them, but it would have gone a long way in fixing some of the problems. But I can understand why she became this way due to her environment. Yeah, it's you know what, Aqua? It reminds me of those people who live in Japan, and Japan is such a strict business society that when you watch like Japanese game shows, they're off the wall. When you watch Japanese events where they slide down giant hills on logs and they nearly get themselves killed, when I see in Japanese culture, when I see them acting out in such extreme ways, that's what I see. I see it as it's such a restrictive society that when it's time to let loose, they freaking lose it. It's the premise of the sexy Catholic schoolgirl. You always hear the idea about those Catholic schoolgirls are wild, and I always thought that stemmed from the idea that they lived such a restricted life that when it's time for them to cut loose, they lose their minds. And that's what I think what was happening with Pink. But it doesn't change the fact that a lot of people suffered because of it. And I think that we talked earlier about the idea that Pink is sort of representative of this concept. I think that's the concept that she's representative of. Here's a question. How does Pearl know Spinel? Because I thought Pearl was given to her when she was flying to Earth. No, I was under the impression that Pearl was given. That might have been it. That might have been what happened. I was under the impression that Pearl was given to Pink before that, but that she was, because we got to see default Pearl, and Default Pearl was boring as hell. And then when she went to Earth, she was bored with Pearl, and then they started going down to Earth, and then it got more interesting for them. Yeah, I was under the impression that she had her before. I figure once they created a diamond, which is very interesting. Hey, Homecoming. It's very interesting because we don't know the idea that Pink was still young. In relation to what? Did they create Pink to have another diamond? Do diamonds occur naturally, and she had just recently been born? You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot to ask about the idea of a young diamond. But yeah, I was always under the impression that she had Pink before, she had Pearl before, but she was trying to even hide from Pearl. Because Pearl was boring. For me, Pink Diamond situation reminds me of what I see people my age who are raised in strict environments, and they break away from the system and they grow up to be crazy. What's the Amish? When they turn 17 or 18, I think it's like a year that they're supposed to live away from the Amish life. Rumspringa? Is that what it's called? Have we discussed the music? Because True Kind of Love and Changes are the two best songs in the series. I don't know if they're the best songs in the series now. Let's take it easy there. Comet exists. And Comet might be one of the best songs in the series. And On the Run, the song that Steven sings with Amethyst when they're on the train, I think is probably one of the best songs in the series. Rumspringa. That's it. Yeah, two of. They're my two new favorites. Well, thank you for the bits, by the way. Thank you for the bits. Our Pearl was given to Pink sometime after Pink Pearl was taken and presumably brainwashed into White Pearl, and sometime before Spinel came in. Okay, so yeah, so there was a different time frame there. The White Pearl was Pink's first pearl that got punished for Pink's behavior. It's man, she busted her up. Because with how they treat Pink, because she had been created. I don't know that she would have been necessarily created. I wonder if diamonds come into existence. That's sort of my question. Gems are grown in the... I had this theory about diamonds before. My theory about diamonds was that gems are grown in the confines of a planet. They're grown out of the materials that are on the planet, and the injectors are put into them, and then they create gems. What if every once in a while a planet's conditions are perfect to where all of the energy starts to funnel into one spot of the planet, and a gem is born on its own, but this gem has the entire power of one planet? Rather than an injector sticking some stuff in and then pulling it out of the rock along with thousands, if not millions, of other gems, a naturally occurring gem takes place, one per planet, only under the perfect conditions, and over thousands, if not millions, of years. Eventually, that gem would bust forth. And that gem would be more powerful than any gem that could be created on a singular planet. That is a diamond. In that sense, diamonds can't be created. They have to form naturally. But that means that you can't stop the creation of a diamond. It's going to happen. Or maybe you can if you destroy the planet fast enough. But for all we know, Pink showed up one day, not knowing what was going on. And then the other three took her in and said, "Oh my God, you're a diamond, so you are now part of us." I never heard this Rumspringa, or it might be long ago, but I do not remember. Aqua, it's like there's like a year where Amish kids are supposed to go live out in the regular world, I should say. I really can't say, but and then decide whether or not they want to stay within the Amish community. And if they do come back to the Amish community, they basically have to stay there. But I've heard stories about like Rumspringa where they go crazy, they go wild because they're trying to squeeze in as much life as they can into that 1 year, or however long it is. Spinel's theme, Other Friends are two of my favorites. I love the music, but I don't remember the songs individually. I'm gonna have to watch the movie 6 more times before I really remember them. Garnet songs are just top. Of course, Garnet songs are top tier. I don't know if they'd be outright best in the series, but I like just about all of the songs in the movie. I'd put them up there with some of the best. Yeah, there was some fantastic ones. I like that the songs got a chance to be, a couple of them anyway, got a chance to be much longer. Especially Here We Are in the Future. Is the Future, I guess, is the name of the song. Diamond still sounds like some sort of outer god type. Lucid, yeah, exactly. They in a world where you create them. Look at us. Look at human beings. We are created by other human beings. Other human beings get together and they do dirty things, and they make new human beings, and that's how it happens over and over again. What would you think of a human being that suddenly showed up and literally appeared out of nowhere, was formed from nothing but the world around them? That people would look at that person as some sort of godlike character to spring into existence in that way. And that's sort of what it's like. In comparison to the other gems, my theory is that diamonds are naturally occurring. They're naturally occurring beings that are so much more powerful than any regular gem that could be created. True Kind of Love was a longer one. And that whole sequence was beautiful. Hey, good King Linky. Did Greg just give us the talk? I think I did. I think I just gave everybody the where gems come from talk. It's also a thing that white was the first gem ever, and she made the other diamonds from parts of her she saw as flaws. Because she always saw pink as something she needed to surpass. That's interesting. I'd like to know where that sort of theory comes from. Rumspringa normally begins around the ages of 14 to 16 and ends when a youth either chooses to be baptized within the Amish church or to leave the community. For Wenger Mennonites, Rumspringa occurs between the ages of 17 and 21. See, very, very fascinating stuff. Very fascinating stuff. Something I wanted to ask, how do you feel about Bismuth, Peridot, and Lapis getting more stuff to do in this movie? I feel like in later seasons they didn't do much. Bismuth was a hard one to use because of the nature of her. But I loved seeing them I love the fact that they're together. Thank you, Homecoming. I love the fact that those three are together. That they get to hang out and they do stuff together. I love that they're their own team. I'll take some spin-off stories of the new fake crystal gems. I'll take some spin-off stories of them together because I think that those three together would be hilarious to watch on their own. Rocks clinging together to make fire. Yes. You strike two rocks together, it makes a spark. And what happens? That's right, a baby. What did I walk into? Lincoln, we're talking about the gems and the bees, I guess. Greg teaching everyone where baby gems come from. When a diamond and another diamond really love each other and they level a planet and improve a new diamond. Is this about that? Yeah, I just watched the movie a little while ago, so I wanted to really talk about the movie. Bismuth got to sing. I'm so happy that she got to, not just that Bismuth got to sing, but the actress. I'm happy that the actress. I want to say, I'm gonna no, I'm not even gonna try. I'm gonna butcher her name, so I'd rather not do that. I want to get her actual name. Uzo Aduba. I'm sure I'm pronouncing that wrong, so I apologize if I am. Uzo Aduba. I'm glad that she got to sing. I liked her character in Orange is the New Black. Kind of not a fan of the series. Side. It was a good movie. Licky, it's a good series. You're just wrong. um, this has got a song, and and she rocked it. Wait. Nope. What are you doing? Push the button. Does Uncle Greg feel obligated to watch a show with Greg in it? No, but I am obligated to root for the Greg character as often as possible. Did we talk about the fusion in the movie? We did. I liked the look of the fusion. What I didn't like was the throwaway nature of the fusion. I didn't like that about the series finale either, where we got to see who do we get to see again? Sunstone, the new Rainbow Quartz, Smoky Quartz, and Obsidian. I didn't like the throwaway nature of them. I didn't like the fact that we got to see them just to see them disappear. Do you see yourself in Greg Universe? Do I see myself in Greg Universe? Well, I have had this fantasy lately about living in a van. And I'm not actually joking about that. Beth would never go for it, so it ain't gonna happen. But I see myself becoming what Greg sort of is now, which is very laid back. Like, Greg owns a car wash, and a lot of people would look at that and scoff at him for it. You know what I mean? Like, car, like, don't you have any? You know, you own the car wash until you do something different, right? Like, and he's content with the life that he has because he's happy in that life, and I like the idea of identifying with that. So I'm gonna say yes. I hope. Will I stream from the van? I will do my best. At the very least, I'll make YouTube videos. I'm still mad that Rainbow 2.0. They were all thrown out like that. We got to see Rainbow 2.0, and they were gone. And then we got this. Sunstone did a few things, but then they're gone, and we never see them again. Are you referring to yourself in the third person? No, I'm referring to Greg Universe and how he is my third person. Uncle Greg for Greg Universe live action. I wouldn't knock on their car wash. You make it. Yeah, I don't know. Well, Lilac, considering that there don't seem to be a whole lot of cars in Beach City, I do hope they revisit the Greg Fusion thing because he finally got his wish after. Yeah, and Hero, and that's, we talked about that earlier, how it was such a big deal for him to want to do that with Rose. And then in this episode, it was like, Dad, let's fuse. Okay. Like, okay, I guess it's not difficult. Greg and Steven's fusion song is so good, while the animation of Pearl's backstory. You know what's funny? John and I sung Comet at Too Many Games for karaoke. Too bad there's no video of it. Listen to Greg talk about how Greg is on level to a Kojima story right up. Maybe I'd understand more if I saw the show. Lilac, the only thing you really need to know about Greg Universe, other than that he's Steven's dad and his real name is Greg DeMeo, is that he's a very laid-back character. It's funny to watch him on edge when his son is in all these sort of dangerous situations, but he was always very laid back, and that's sort of what attracted Rose Quartz to him. But that's really all. Like, he lives in a van. He owns a car wash. I think he had a house somewhere at some point, but he lives in his van and he's happy. You know, he plays his music and that's it. I think he's still got millions of dollars. It wasn't impossible for them to fuse considering Stevani is a thing. Yeah, but Stevani, no, I guess that really does. I guess that really works too. I was gonna say that Stevani and that Steven and Connie went through a lot together to get to that point, but I guess obviously he did with his dad too. The baby Steven, three gems and a baby. The baby Steven episode. It was 3 gems and a baby. Stag. Why? Wait, why is it Stag and not Grievin? Oh, yeah, Grievin's not bad. Yeah, okay. Never mind the group. Stag it is. See, I like the name Steg because you know Amethyst is gonna call him Stegosaurus. Oh my god. Millions of dollars, living in a van and doing what he loves to do. Now that's a good, yeah, exactly. That's a good life. Who wouldn't want to live that life? Yeah, it's just Grievance sounds like a more badass name. I'm just doing what my sister told me. She heard someone refer to him as Stag. No. It's Stag. That's not the first time I heard Stag. Stag is already the name that I've been hearing. So I, you know how it is. Whatever they decide to call him, we've already decided to call him Stag. So there it is. That's how you do it. But yeah, that I don't know if there's anything else to really talk about with the movie. Fusions are formed based on love and relationships. So Steven and Greg's relationship is a family love between the dad and son. It's not out of the realm of possibility. Like Ruby and Sapphire and Steven and Connie are both romantic love. Steven and Amethyst are sibling like bonds. It does seem like the best. Okay, no, there is actually one more problem. I actually did have a problem with the design for Steg. There was one aspect that I had a problem with. I was not a fan of the four arms. I was not a fan of the. So here's the thing. Yeah, a fusion is an intimate relationship. It's not just sex and it's not just friendship. People say that it's like sex. Like no, it's not. It's representative of an intimate relationship. Here's my problem with the four arms. The way fusions work, I don't remember if this was canon somewhere or if this is just speculation. The way fusions work is that the more compatible the two gems are that are fusing together, the less transformations you're going to see. Garnet works so well. Ruby and Sapphire work so well. Thank you for the bits. No, not forearms. 4 arms. One of the reasons that you can tell that Ruby and Sapphire work so well together: 2 arms, 2 legs, 3 eyes, but that's most likely represented by the fact that one of them is seer. But other than that, it works perfectly. The better you are, the more compatible you are as a fusion, the less transformation you make. So Garnet looks like a regular. We didn't know for the longest time that Garnet was actually a fusion because Garnet has 2 legs, 2 arms, 1 head. Everything is normal. The less compatible they are, the worse it gets. Steven and Amethyst are extremely compatible with each other, but not completely. That's why Smoky Quartz has a 3rd arm on one side. I don't remember. I think Smoky Quartz only had 2 eyes, but other than that, there were some alterations. When you look at some of the other fusions, look at how wild they transform. Garnet and Amethyst fuse, and they, I think she's 4 arms. I think Sugalite was 4 arms, but she's also massive, and she has a significant aggression problem. Like there are problems with it. When Jasper and Lapis fused, it was a forced fusion. That one of them did not want to be there. It was a bad situation. And what happened? You got a giant monster. You got a monster that was representative of both of them being stuck together by force. You got 4 arms and 4 legs, 4 eyes. You got yeah, you're right. Malachite was the representation of 2 people being stuck together that did not want to be stuck together. And as a result, they were as separated as could possibly be. The more compatible they are, the less there should be. Steven and his father should have been super compatible. So for the most part, Steven should have looked, Steg should have looked a lot like Stevani does, where there is not Stevani looks like a legit person because they're so compatible. And I feel like Steg should have looked like that. I feel like Steg should have had 2 arms and the rest of the form should have been the same. Yeah, Malachite, Jasper and Lapis. The episode was Alone at Sea. The episode was called Alone at Sea. Alone at Sea is one of the most moving episodes for me because Alone at Sea is so. I have watched people in abusive relationships, and you'll forgive me if I get a little emotional for this. I've watched people in abusive relationships, mentally abusive, physically abusive. I've seen that happen before, and and all of the things that happen in that episode, Alone at Sea, I have seen happen in these abusive relationships. They come back and they want to change. You make me a better person, but they're still the same abuser that they were the entire time. It is a frightening episode. It is for me to have seen that sort of thing in real life multiple times and to see it played out on the screen is frightening. And I will always tell people that Alone at Sea is one of the most frightening representations of what abusive relationships look like. It's terrifying. And the fact that Malachite was such a monster is representative of that relationship. And so the Steg having 4 arms thing bothered me because they should have been more compatible than that. And I feel like it was just a design choice, but I feel like that design choice sidestepped some of that lore. Sugalite was 4 arms. Sardonyx, I believe, was 6. I believe Sardonyx was 6, but Sardonyx was the best fusion there is. So, sorry. Maybe Sunstone takes over that role a little bit, but Sardonyx was just amazing. So I do wonder if Lapis will. Hero, I would love to have seen I wanted Lapis to fuse with Peridot. I think that Lapis should fuse with Peridot. I think that Peridot is very, very representative of the first incredibly deep connection that Lapis feels with another gem. I think it's different for Steven because she sort of had this prior relationship with Steven. I think that Peridot represents the first real strong relationship that she's had that she wanted to be in. Because even with Steven, she was sort of thrust into the situation with Steven. So I think that I love the idea. Somebody did a comic out there, like a little 4-panel comic where she's sitting with Peridot and they're sitting there watching TV and they're so relaxed that they fuse together. And then they're just kind of like, and then that's it. Like, that's the whole comic. It's like, I love it. I love that idea. Spinel uses Ruby Fake. Do you think this is the finale? No. No. But the reason for that is that I think the finale was the finale. I think this was just a fun movie to throw together to give people something to watch as far as Steven Universe. But I don't see the things that happened in this show continuing as a plot for another series. I see this as a one-off movie that it was fun to watch, was good to watch. But I don't see it as a finale because, to me, the finale wrapped up the important Steven Universe lore. Everything that Steven Universe has been up to that point was leading to that point. So this was just extra. I just think that this was extra. Even Steven? No. Even Steven's never got another season. I think there could potentially be something romantic between Lapis. I think that there should have been something romantic between them a long time ago. For they both look up to Bismuth. I know there's something else there too. If you throw Bismuth into the mix, let's get down to Bismuth. It's basically this movie is DLC for the Steven Universe series. That's kind of how I feel too. That's why I was saying that if the show, and then if we don't ever see anything else from the show, that's totally fine. I'm okay. If you want to continue it in the comics or something like that, fan fictions, obviously, I mean, fan fictions, you're never gonna stop fan fiction. But I don't need. Truth be told, I didn't need this, but having had it now, I'm happy with it. But I don't need anything else. If you want to do more stuff and it works, that's fine. But I don't need anything else right now. But that is going to wrap. You know what's funny? You know what is the most embarrassing thing about this entire talk? We've been going for an hour and 20 minutes. I'm going to tell you the most embarrassing thing about this discussion. The most embarrassing thing about this discussion is that I had this image all ready to go and I forgot to push the button. And this entire time that we've been talking, that image has not been on the screen. I'm gonna leave it there now. Damn it! I downloaded it and I uploaded it for a topic image. I'm gonna use it. Can we get a video performance of you and Johnny singing? Yeah. Oh yeah. Hold on. Time to start over. Okay. Hold on. Hey everybody! Welcome. No, I'm just kidding. And everything. Cut the cord. Unsubbed. But we are gonna wrap it up there. I'm gonna sit down and relax a little bit, and then we've got the Nintendo Direct is gonna start in less than an hour. I don't know if I don't typically live stream Nintendo Directs. I usually like to watch it on my own. We'll see what happens. I don't know. Maybe I'll do it, or maybe I'll go live after. I don't really know. On to what we really care about. But yeah, the Nintendo Direct is an hour from now. This will actually be going up on YouTube, so if you're watching this on YouTube, then ignore my comment about the Nintendo Direct. But thank you everybody for stopping in and for hanging out and indulging me as I discuss the Steven Universe movie, which I very much enjoyed. It had a few slightly dimmer spots, but ultimately was, I thought, a great movie. Johnny's gonna stream it. I know Elliot and Sabrina and I think Josh and probably Jen are gonna stream it. I mean, I know a lot of people are going to stream it, and that's why I'm probably not going to bother. If I do anything, it's going to be a stream from 7 to 8. More than likely, I'm just going to wait and talk about everything on Friday. That's probably what we're going to do. But thank you all for stopping in. Again, if you're watching this right now and you're not normally here, go ahead and click follow and like and all that stuff. Check the links down below for my Twitter and my YouTube, and also look at the Pillow down below because it's funny. If you're watching this on YouTube, also check the links down below. Blah blah blah. Follow me here and there, and go to my Twitch page and look at the Pillow, because if you have not seen this picture of the Pillow, you'll love it. But that being said, thank you everybody. Have an amazing 2 days, and then join me again on Friday, where we'll talk about more stuff. And until then, go watch the Nintendo Direct, because we're definitely going to talk about that on Friday. But I'm looking at my buttons. But until then, have a good one. Thank you for stopping in, and I will see you all next time.